So OTAs are underway for the Steelers, and there's not really too much newsworthy stuff besides Cam Heyward calling Jerry Dulac a liar, which is really weird. And Justin Fields saying that he wants to start. Oh my God.
Yep.
A quarterback says he wants to start. Oh my God. Let's sound the alarms. This is oh my goodness. We're just manufacturing drama now, people.
Yeah, and who was somebody else ripped into about a week or two before the Jerry Dulac thing happened. I'm trying to remember who it was now. I know his son played a Pitt. He's on the fan.
Paul's
Um,
ice.
Someone ripped into Paul Zeiss about, you know, it was, I think it was, I don't know if it was Cam or it was somebody else on the team, but someone ripped into Paul Zeiss about, saying what they say. And because, Paul said he had a source and it didn't work out. And um, I can only tell you from back in the days, I never had the Steelers beat. I had, Penn State and a few other major college beats. Reporters always go by, even back then, you were always trying to beat another guy out. Whether anybody tells you that is to me is lying. I mean, because you want to be that guy or girl that breaks a story, right? And
Right.
and
Right.
so you do, and it's tough. It's like sometimes you try to get all your facts straight and all your ducks in a row, but somebody else is nibbling, so you may just take a leap of faith. And it seems lately like some of these athletes are just kind of done with it. And I I can tell you I've met Cam Heyward a couple times, nicest guy
Oh,
in the room.
the best. Yeah.
And I mean, I usually Jerry Dulac's probably one of the guys I hold as like, hey, if Jerry Dulac said it, because him and Rooney's are like this.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
you piss a guy off, and if Cam Heyward calls you out, and Joe, I can't remember ever Cam Heyward calling a guy out from the media in his 12 years, so he must have been pretty hacked off.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very unlike Cam to do something like that. Um, Another thing that's different between now and back in the day is, especially with Cam, players have their own podcasts now. They don't
Yeah,
have to even deal with the media. They
right.
can say, "I don't want to talk to you guys. I'll talk. I'll just broadcast what I want." And it'll be any format they want, in any length of time or whatever. They don't, it's like I don't need to talk to you schmucks. I could just do my own thing and do my own broadcasts. And
And
Cam
then
has his own podcast now, so
yeah, and they're exceedingly popular. From like I know, like Denny Hamlin has one for NASCAR, and it's got like a 2 million followers. Dale Jr. has one. Um, I'm trying to think of the
Kelsey's.
Kelsey's has one. I mean, it's just everybody. Allen Iverson, I mean, it's like everybody has one, and yeah, from NASCAR to the NBA to tennis and everything in between, somebody has a podcast. So like us.
Yeah, there you go.
By day, we're hardworking blue collar men, and by evenings, we have our podcast where we,
Hey, Cam Heyward, if you ever want to come on here, you're welcome
yes,
anytime, man. Just saying, if
yeah,
you're
you
if
and your
you're,
brother,
if something happens with your account and you can't get on.
you and your
Um,
brother, more than welcome.
yeah, yeah.
I gotta say, I mean, other than like a Super Bowl ring, or maybe if you were NFL MVP, I mean, if you had the Walter Payton Man of the Year trophy, I mean, that's gotta be pretty high up in your trophy case at home. I mean, I don't know what more goes above a Walter Payton Man of the Year award, and that's just amazing. And for all the faults the NFL has, and I think we're going to get into some of them, that's one award that they don't mess up. That even Roger Goodell seems to hold very dear. I thought it was great that they brought Cam Heyward out in the draft. And once again, even though they already did the award show, he took the time to recognize Cam Heyward, what he did, and everything. And that was phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the Steelers need to be careful how they handle this whole Cam Hayward thing, because
Yeah,
you're not just dealing with some player, you're dealing with like the man on the Steelers, the elder statesman, the most respected, the most popular player, and to someone that just wanted Walter Payton. I mean, imagine they can't agree to a contract. This is Cam's last year, and he's not happy, and things don't go well or something like that. That's just a really bad look for the organization.
Yeah, he's our Joe Green right now. It's not
Hmm.
because we're both defensive linemen. It's just he is. And you're right. I think he's a leader in that clubhouse. I think he held that team together last year when it was kind of falling apart best he could. So yeah, that's a great point. I mean, you got to bring in the guy. I don't know, whatever it takes. I'm sure they'll figure out a way. But
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised they haven't worked out something already because he counts a lot toward toward the cap. He's
yeah, he does.
I think he counts 22.4 million against the cap in 2024. Like
Yep,
they could use that money for something else.
they could.
Just make extend a deal for like 2 or 3 years and lessen the cap hit this year and everybody will win.
Yeah, yeah. It's tough because we went from an era where, if you remember, Joe, the Steelers did not negotiate with this. I mean, this is not something you did. And then Heinz Ward kind of, that kind of broke it and set a precedent for a while because he did something similar. At the same time, I think he was in a similar position where you could argue he was somewhat the voice of the team captain, whatever it may be. And so, and again, Omar Khan's like back crap crazy. I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, he may anoint him with a $22 million contract tomorrow, or he may trade him to the Cardinals for, it's just like, you don't know. It totally is. And this is overused. This is not not my dad's Steelers team. I mean, it's very different. So it's interesting too. I just wish, in a way, I guess a lot of us wish it wasn't happening with him.
Hopefully it's just a minor thing. I hope it's not one of those things because when the Steelers do contracts, they wait till the end of the summer, like almost right before the season starts to actually hammer out contracts. I hope this doesn't linger all summer because that's just that's gonna suck.
And all I can say is this. I mean, like, again, who am I? But I can tell you at the facility, it was a facility I did some stuff with for work. That's all I can really say. And goodness gracious, I think I was there in June or July. It would have been after the draft because Connor was with him. Here he is in this public setting, and he brought his own tackling dummies. Like, I know we had a mutual friend that he talked to. Hey, he said, "Do you mind if I bring my own tackling dummies?" And my friend was like, "Sure." And so he pulls them in his truck. The one he does the advertisements for. He has this 250 Ford Ranger. Throws him in his Ford F1 250. Throws him in his truck. Brings him down. Him and Connor throwing him down. He keeps him in a corner under tarp. And him and Connor are there working out and doing things. And then there's like a daycare there. Obviously, some viewers that are watching and listening probably know what I'm talking about. But anyway, and I told you the one point where the kids all were like sneaking up behind them. Like there's like this little divider, and there's a little girl leading this little team, and they hid behind a thing. And he rose up and they all screamed, "Cam!" They waved, they like, "Ah, ha, ha." And he came over. And he's like, "Boo, hi!" You know what I mean? I sat there and watched the interaction, and I mean, and again, this is mid to early June. I mean, it's OTA time. He's out there working with Connor, going through the motions, and I'm thinking this guy has every reason to sit at home right now.
Right. Take it easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
having a Turner's iced tea, take a break. Having some Sarah's candy, waiting for things to roll. Now he's out here in June, and he's out here. It's hot, and he's going. You know,
Yeah. He's what I think 35. I believe he could still go another 2, 3 years, probably. You know,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So hopefully they work that all out. But this is the first time we've got to the first time I think the media has been able to talk to Justin Fields since he became a Steeler.
yeah,
We got to see Russell Wilson again, and every time Russell Wilson talks, that dude's gonna run for office someday. He talks like a politician. It's like, and
yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm he just talks a certain way. He just has this, I don't know, this aura about him. And it's one thing if he wins, if he plays well, we love it. If it doesn't go well, people are gonna get real sick of it real quick. So it's gonna be real interesting how this all shakes out.
It really is. I mean, he's a very well spoken man. It's like Barack Obama or something. Like, it's like you really want to hear what he has to say, and it's just spoken so well. Yeah, I agree with you. But then you had, like you said, Justin Fields. I don't know if you're saying he's making waves, but I think any guy who came from a position where he was a starter wants to start again. I mean, you can't blame him for that. He's not being like jerky about it. He's saying, "Hey, I want to start," and I think that's why you brought him in. You want a kid that wants to do that, you know. So yeah, so already you got a little bit of scandal going on, whatever you want to call it, a little bit of controversy already, and we even haven't hit OTAs yet or mini camps or you know Latrobe.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it would be funny if he said, "I'm taking the year off, guys. I'm just gonna. I brought my lawn chair. It's real comfortable. I got my Nintendo Switch. I'm gonna get to the highest level of this video game, guys, because I'm obviously not starting this year, so I'm just gonna take it easy,
Right.
take a sabbatical, and just chill. No,
I
I
went to
mean,
Dunham's and that and got me one of the rocker hydraulic chairs and
yeah, one of them
yep,
real nice ones. Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, he want every player wants to be the starter. Every player wants to compete. So that's I don't think that's an issue. But I mean, it's going to be the main story from now till February. How is this quarterback position all going to work out? Because right now it's all temporary. These guys are on 1 year deals. Who knows what's going to happen? And I'm just fascinated. I could see, what if Russell Wilson starts out poorly? Are they going to make the switch to Justin Fields? What if Russell Wilson plays really well and has a good year? What are they going to do for next year? What if he just plays okay and we don't even get to see Justin Fields? Then what's going to happen next year? It's just all fascinating how this is all going to shake out, and we have no idea how it's going to work out.
Well, and it's the way it went down too, right? Because you look at there's still the Kenny Pickett lovers that are out there, and it's almost getting sickening on Twitter seeing them like anything the Steelers do. That if you it wouldn't happen if you had Kenny Pickett, just like they did to Kenny Pickett, and it's like, oh God, you guys need to let it go. But because there's that passion for Kenny Pickett, it also makes it interesting, right? There's people that are going to be waiting to sit there and say, Fields failed and Russell Wilson failed and the Steelers failed Kenny Pickett, and so there's different factions still. It's like 1992 we have Ross Perot, Bill Clinton, George Bush. It's like
Yeah.
um, it's crazy. But you're right. And will wide receivers, the ones that we have left, are they going to start picking sides? I mean, like we saw DJ. He'd already said, "Hey, Mason Rudolph's my guy." And then
Right.
Mason Rudolph
I
gone.
would highly suggest they don't do that.
Yeah,
Look what
don't
happened
do
to the
that.
last guy
Yeah,
that picked a
don't
side.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. We'll just see how it all shakes out. It's going to be fascinating. And as we learned from last year, preseason games don't mean diddly squat because Kenny Pickett looked like the love child of Tom Brady and Joe Montana that last preseason, and then look what happened. So
Oh
don't
yeah,
take any preseason stats into account.
right. We
But I
thought,
mean,
yeah.
but 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 what we have to figure out, and the other big story is this Arthur Smith offense. Everybody everybody's trying to learn this offense. We don't know who's going to play where in terms of all the wide receivers. We don't know, like how well they're going to grasp this offense. From what we've heard so far, everybody says, "Oh, they absolutely love Arthur Smith's offense. One told me it was unreal," Mark Caboli said. Obviously they're not gonna say,
Right.
compared to Matt Canada's offense was probably on crayon or something like this. Like, oh my God, this guy's using pen and paper. What's going on?
Right.
Um,
Right.
so, we'll see how this all works out with this offense.
I think people are underrating that a little bit because you have new blocking schemes. Although, I think it's part of the reason they brought in 3 linemen that I think are all going to start or have a chance to, at least 2 of them for sure. And I mean, what better way to kind of really, get them going by using young offensive linemen to learn a scheme right off the bat and not try to teach an old dog new tricks. So you have that going for you. And it does seem like uh, it would really seem like Najee, and that's who it was that had a problem with something that Paul Zeiss said. Um, Najee seems to be pretty up for it. I think he said he's dropped almost 5 pounds now. He's kind of changed his body a little bit, the way he's approaching his workouts. He also realizes he's obviously didn't get the 5-year extension, which source of contention too in the last couple weeks on people who are okay with that and people who are not. But now, he's going to be out there wanting to earn his stripes. So I think you're going to see a really solid season from Najee Harris. I mean, he has every reason to play for it. Whether he stays home here and gets the big contract extension here, or whether he, goes somewhere else and is adding value to his future for another team. So I think the stars have really aligned for Najee Harris here. He has every reason to want to do good, to put forth a good effort. This offense probably is going to favor him better than it has the entire time he's been here. So who knows? Who knows?
It's almost like the Steelers did this on purpose, where they created a situation where you have a bunch of people that have a lot to prove. They got Arthur Smith, who was fired as a head coach of Atlanta and basically that was a complete failure. They got Russell Wilson, who was a complete failure in Denver. Justin Fields was basically kicked out of Chicago. Najee, they're basically saying you're gonna have to work for your contract, buddy, because we're not giving you anything. We're not even gonna give you a 5th-year option. It's like they're trying to create this situation where it's like you got to have the best year of your career or else. It's now, and it's a good situation. It's like if you do well, then you will be rewarded in some way. But
Great.
if you
Yeah.
don't, you're kind of screwed. But
So
it's just a high risk reward thing, and it's just a real interesting scenario that they put out there.
it's like Rudolph. So the Steelers Santa is either going to show up at the end of the season and take you to a boy or girl that loved you, or you're stuck in the land of misfit toys. So it's the misfit toy
Yeah,
defense that we'll be putting forth. Our dads had the
pretty
steel
much.
curtain. We have the misfit toy defense, offense, whatever you want to say. But no, you're right. I mean, it's a it's a good analogy. There's a lot of guys on here playing for their longevity, whether it's with the Steelers or not. I don't think Daniels is going to be back. I think he would like a chance on an offensive line to prove that he still has value. But I think some of the younger guys are going to want to push. It's really, really kind of interesting here what's going to unfold with individual, I guess, individual resumes and individual, direction on what they want to do. But these guys better come together because Joe, the other thing came out since we last did this was the schedule. And it's really, my God, I don't know what to say for those of you who weren't there. Joe and I trying to make this happen the last couple of days since last week, and life happens. So our normal Monday nights were kind of thrown off, and just as well, how about Wednesday night? And I said, well, hell, the Steelers are playing on Wednesday again, so why not? We might as well do a Wednesday night podcast because,
It's
maybe
insane. It's insane how they made this schedule. It's almost laughable. I know you're a professional wrestling fan. I'm one. And in professional wrestling, a lot of times you have the evil, like the corporation or the evil commissioner or something like that. It's like, and he makes it really hard for the good guys to come out on top. That's kind of what this is. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna put all of your division foes at the end. Oh, and you're gonna play Kansas City in 3 days, and in Philadelphia. We'll put them all together. Maybe they all play you at once. Ha 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 ha. It's just laughable. I've never seen it. I don't think it's ever happened before where you have all your division opponents at the end of the year. It's insane, really.
That's the first thing that stood out in my mind was, whoa. We don't play an AFC North opponent until week 11. And then it's like, it's
Crazy.
right. I mean, and also we should point out, I mean, all the AFC North really got screwed. You know, Ray Lewis 2 weeks ago or the week after this came out, he said, look, he said, if this was back when I was playing, one of the few things that Joey Porter and I'd be running our mouths off and supporting each other and getting fine together like true brothers. But yeah, no, I mean, it is. I mean, it's dumb. In non-AFC North, the Jets play, I forget who they play, probably Jacksonville in London on like a Sunday morning. And then traditionally, the NFL has worked. If you played in London, you're generally on a bye week. They have
Right.
no bye week. They come back like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then they play again Monday night against somebody. I mean, it's like,
Oh my God.
this international game. It's like, he's so wanting this to happen. And it's like Fetch, right? From Mean Girls. Stop trying to make Fetch happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could give it, sorry, I could give a crap if they're playing in London or Mexico City or Seoul or wherever he wants to play. And this year the Steelers were spared, so I almost guarantee you next year, Joe, the Steelers are playing in one of those international games. What sickens me about it is the Christmas games on Wednesday. Look, if Christmas falls on a weekend, okay, I mean that's good. That's when the NFL traditionally plays, or a Monday night. Okay, so there you go. Making them play on Wednesday is making it happen for your own benefit. I can tell you the NBA's had this big thing, Christmas Day games. I've never watched an NBA game on Christmas Day 1 minute in my entire life. If it wasn't for the Steelers, I probably wouldn't play. And I'm almost ticked that I have to watch the Steelers play on Wednesday because then they turn around and they play like 11 or 3 games in like 11 days. And that's
Yeah.
and that part of
It's
the season
insane.
too. So to me, and we've hit on this before in the show, to me, you're putting injuries coming into play. When you get past week 11, you're already having the injury train a little bit. I know we got a later bye week this year, fine, but still, all the more important for whatever does happen with Russell Wilson or Fields, for one of them to be healthy, because I think you're going to need it. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
guys.
See, to me, that's laughable. Like, is Justin Fields going to play? Hell yeah, he's going to play
yeah,
because something's going to happen to somebody.
Yeah,
it's inevitable. It's
right.
It's crazy.
That might not be because somebody stinks. It's just because
because somebody might be dying or something.
And Russell Wilson, to your point with Cam Heyward, is 35. And same thing with Cam Heyward. Like, part of probably why he wants that extension is, look, man, I mean, look what they're putting us through.
Right.
I got to go do this.
An 18th game is coming real soon. Goodell just talked about it this week. He's like, oh yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay if we have an 18th game because we'll just have one less preseason game. Bro, nobody plays in the preseason games, you dummy.
No, that's exactly right. And I mean, it is. I mean, to me, it's infuriating. It's such a money grab. It's so obvious. And don't sit there and tell me we are so concerned and supportive of player safety.
Get out of here.
That is such a crock of crap. You don't give a damn because you wouldn't be having these guys play this kind of a schedule if you did. It's a violent contact sport. I think hockey is probably the only thing that rivals it. And yet you're going to have these guys play in this manner. And on the hockey, I think they're much more protected, but still, I mean, it's insane.
What makes me laugh is not only is the game on a Wednesday on Christmas, it's at 1 o'clock because they said, we don't want to interfere with Christmas dinner. Bro, we're interfering with the entire day when you have a game at 1 o'clock.
This is Pittsburgh. God. Dinner's usually at 2 o'clock on a Sunday or Christmas. It's like it's supposed to be. Yeah, what time's dinner? 2 o'clock. Well, you can sell late if you're eating at 5. That's like 5 o'clock is like you're now going to round 2 or 3 of what happened at 1 or 2 o'clock. You're going back for the leftovers, right? Where the marshmallow crap's put out, the stuff nobody wants to eat, the green jello marshmallow.
That's right. Whatever's left over.
Right. Or Aunt Tina has now brought over, the cream puffs. It's the 5th set of cookies that have come through the door. That's what you're doing at 5 or 6 o'clock at night on Christmas or Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
I always thought Thanksgiving Day, you could say I'm a hypocrite. I thought about that for a long time and getting prepared for tonight's show, but I don't think I am. To me, Thanksgiving, okay, it's a novelty thing. You have 1 or 2 games now. We have 3. Okay, so you have 2 or 3
Very
games.
much a tradition for Thanksgiving to be football.
Right.
It's been happening for like 50 years or
Yeah,
whatever.
longer than
But
the NBA's done the
Christmas,
Christmas thing,
yeah,
right? So the NBA did the Christmas thing, I think, to say, hey, we can do a holiday thing too. But now the
yeah.
NFL wants Christmas too. I mean, it's like, are we going to be playing games on Easter, or is there going to be a Mother's Day game? I mean, what the
Why
heck?
not? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. Sorry, honey, we can't go out. The Jaguars are playing the Titans. We can't go out for Valentine's Day dinner.
Right, and the losing team has to buy the winning team's wives, dinner or something.
Dozen roses.
But yeah, Joe,
my
that
goodness.
stood out to me. They have 3 short weeks more than any other team. Not trying to be, bleeding heart Steelers here, but in that one stretch on the Christmas. So let's look back up to Christmas. It's not like they're playing the Cardinals or the some
The
other
world
schluck team.
champs.
They're playing the world champs. And oh, by the way, 4 days earlier, you're playing
The
Baltimore Ravens,
Ravens.
the team the world champs had to beat to get to the Super Bowl.
And probably the most important game of the year for the Steelers for the division.
Right.
And the week before that, they play Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, give me a break. Which now, if we look at that dynamic, when you look at those first couple of weeks, holy crap, that first week against the Falcons, which nothing's ever meaningful for us against the Falcons, but now it means everything. You have Arthur Smith in a revenge game, which I don't think we've ever had a revenge game against the Falcons. But you better win or stock up on wins early, Joe, because late, holy crap.
Exactly. They need, and when do the Steelers ever start out good? They always they eventually get good in November and December, but they always start out bad. Now they can't afford to start out bad because all their easy games are in the first part of the schedule.
Right.
And this is an entirely new offense.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This just has this has disaster written all over it. This has possibly 8-9 written all over it.
And that could be an 8-9 or 7-10 or 9-8 season where I think you legitimately can't blame Tomlin or player execution for it, because I mean, for God's sakes, they're going to be dead. So I mean, they could start out the gate. And again, I put this on Twitter like a week ago, and you said, except us. I don't want to pick game by game yet, because I mean, you just never know. We'll get close to that. But I mean, if you are looking at it, they could go 7-2 or 6-3, and they sure as hell better, because if they want to hit 10-7, I think that's where they need to be. And last year, I think all of us had them split in 50-50 with the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns for the division, but they go 5-1 and really impress us and shock the world. But this year, 3-3 is a distinct possibility.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's the best case scenario if they go 3-3 in the division.
Right.
Yeah.
Along with everybody else.
And every year there's 2 or 3 games where they're supposed to win. They play a really crappy team and they lose. But then there's 1 or 2 games where they're supposed to lose and then they win. So it's going to be insane. Yeah, who knows what? It's impossible to do wins and losses now, because it's just
right. Because after what happened with the Cardinals last year, classic, Mike Tomlin type game.
Yeah.
You look at the first 4 games, 3 of which, by the way, are on the road. Let me point that out too.
Yeah.
You think, okay, Falcons, Colts, Chargers, Broncos. We could be 4-0. I guarantee they're going to drop one of those in some stupid fashion to the Broncos or the Chargers or the whatever, and they're going to be 3-1, maybe 2-2 coming out of that first month.
It's a quote unquote revenge game for Arthur Smith, but it's a revenge game for Atlanta too, because they really want to stick it to Arthur Smith. Plus, they got Kirk Cousins, who's all kinds of pissed over because they drafted a quarterback to replace him.
Yeah.
And then the next week you're in Denver, and that's the Russell Wilson revenge game, and it's the same thing. Russell Wilson wants to get revenge on them, but they really want to. But Sean Payton is Bountygate, people. Don't think he's above but it's hey guys,
right.
I'm not saying whoever hurts Russell Wilson gets an extra steak dinner, but there might be a little bonus in your paycheck. Just saying.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think, yeah, I wouldn't put that past him at all. And then, you got Dallas at home. I really do feel like Dallas is going to take a couple steps back this year. I don't think they're going to be very good. Um,
Yeah, but they're good in the regular season. That's the problem.
they
It's
they
the
are.
playoffs that they suck.
The Raiders, which now last year we won, wasn't a beautiful win. It was an ugly win, but we win. They go back to Las Vegas again this year, so there'll be 5,000 Steeler fans. Or
That's a home
50,000.
game.
Sorry, 50,000. I'll never forget the best part of that game was turning around and they're like, "Hey, who's the Raiders backup?" And there wasn't a Raiders fan around.
Right, they're all
God,
Steelers
it
fans.
was Steeler fans 7 rows deep. Like, "Hey, who's the Raider? Where's the Raiders fan? Shit, I
Are
can't
we
find a
in
Raiders
Acrisure?
fan."
Are we in
No, black and gold. Terrible towels at the casino chips, um, then we have New York,
I
New York.
wonder. I wonder when they made the schedule. They showed it to Rooney. He's like, "What the hell is this?" I was like, What is this crap?" I was like, "Okay, how about we arrange another trip to Vegas for you guys?" Like, okay, I guess we'll accept it.
Right.
Yeah,
Then
there's
you got
no
the
reason
Frank
to be playing
Sinatra.
Vegas again, but in Vegas
No.
2 years in a row. But like, let's go.
Yeah, then you got the Frank Sinatra Bowl, New York, back to back at home. Jets and Giants should be winnable, but I have a feeling the Jets might rebound a little bit this year, but we'll see because their schedule's brutal too. Then they go in the bye week, and then they
I think
go.
the Jets are a walking disaster. I think Aaron Rodgers is he
I
might be
know.
running for president at that point. That's a couple weeks before the
He
election.
might be. Then you go to Washington Commanders, and then it starts Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Browns, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. Like, I mean, and the Bengals game, I think, is a to be announced. So they're to be determined. So they don't know if it's going to be Sunday night, a Sunday, whatever. So, man, it's concerning.
But the other reason why we have no idea what's going to happen is somebody's going to get hurt.
Yep.
It's just, and because why we just talked about, when you have teams play three games in 11 days, stuff like this happens. So, it's like, oh no, we have to face Cleveland. Cleveland might be on their fourth string quarterback by then, or maybe they'll just keep Deshaun Watson at the massage table because he sucks so bad. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? Who knows? Lamar Jackson could get hurt. Joey Burrow could get hurt again. We don't know who's going to be healthy, who's going to be hurt. So it's just all a crapshoot.
That's the thing with the NFL. I don't feel like that's why it's different, right? I mean, now I know we had a couple years here where Sid had the concussion, but for the most part, the superstars of the Penguins have been okay. Letang had a year, Gino off and on a little bit, but it always seems like for whatever reason, it's a longer season, that the hockey players, the star players, stay healthier. In the NFL, it's just so much more brutal. The hits, the whatever it is, and I mean, I guess it's fact you're being tackled and thrown to the ground, and all these legs are in there. You saw it happen to Aaron Rodgers. 4 plays, folks.
Yeah.
4 plays.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're not picking on Aaron Rodgers. That could happen to any team in the NFL. 4 plays and your season's done. We saw what happened with Big Ben a few years back. What was that? How many games did they make it, Joe? 3?
That was the second game of the year. He
Game
got knocked out. Yeah.
And and it's like it's just, I mean, that could happen here. You could have something happen against the Broncos, right? And then you're like, holy crap. I mean, it's just, and I guess that's where, I mean, I don't try to be that critical of this stuff. I mean, things do drive me crazy. I think some of the things NASCAR does and some of the things MLB does, I just can't get over. God, the Pirates got screwed last week so bad. I mean, how with replay
replay too. It's like, it's okay. We have instant replay. Well,
right. So, but then you have this. I just don't. It makes me angry that the NFL will sit here, and if we had Roger Goodell on the show, he would tell us, "Oh, player safety, player safety, player safety." Bull crap, bull crap, bull crap. Because I mean,
the other funny
safety, man.
It not only are they screwing the players, they're screwing us. That game on Christmas is on Netflix. Now,
Well,
assuming you have Netflix, you're
I
fine. If
do.
you don't have Netflix, what do you want to like?
Well,
I heard if you want to watch all the games, it's going to cost a minimum $1,000 to get onto all the streaming, all the
right.
packages, all that crap. Like, are you kidding me? thousand
Pompiani
dollars?
Pompiani said something about Netflix didn't purchase the local broadcast rights like
Right,
some of the other
right.
guys did. So, Steeler fans, you're going to be okay if you have CBS, ABC, and NBC still, which some of you probably do, and like Blanox or wherever you may live. So you're going to be okay. But no, you're
Wow,
right.
your antenna, Nat.
Yeah, no, you're right. My buddy Bob, who I work for and I do the radio show for with high school football, we go back and forth with the Peacock thing, right? I mean, to me and you, it's not much of a, it's what $5.99, boom, you click.
Right,
But
right.
he has a decent point in that not everybody wants to have Peacock and do the $5.99, and so they're hosed out of games. And
I think wasn't the a playoff game last year
it was a
that they made
playoff
on they
game.
put on
Yep,
Peacock?
and if you wanna sit there, is one of my colleague Ryan Briggs, who we both follow, says that it's a money grab by the NFL in his 1 minute segment. He's not wrong,
It
and I
absolutely is.
guess you and I sit here complain about it, but we're also sitting here on a Steelers podcast, and we got Funko Pops and we've got helmets in the back, and
Right, right.
we have Steeler gears on and Steeler neck, whatever. Um, it's just, I guess I'm not old fashioned. I don't want to go back to 16 games or 15 games or 14 games. I'm just saying that it's getting to be too much. And what's the end game, Joe? Are we going to be like Friday Night Football? Are we talking about, which wouldn't surprise me at all, if that came into play in the next couple of years? It just seems like,
Or
I,
is
I,
every game going to be pay-per-view? Is that where we're heading? Like it kind of looks like it.
right, right, and it's tough. It's almost like it's like watching wrestling, where like you never thought the bloodline was ever going to lose, because the owners love Roger Goodell, because Roger Goodell
Oh
makes them
God,
a lot of money.
he makes them so much money. Yeah.
And so there's no end in sight in there. Roger Goodell's not going anywhere. Um, eh, so yeah, I just it was disappointing to see it. I just don't understand how you can sit there and look at that and say, "Hey, safety's our biggest thing." It's not.
See, eventually what's going to happen is, eventually they're going to go to 18 games. Eventually all the players, so many players are going to get hurt that you're going to have a Super Bowl of like the Chiefs' third string quarterback against the Eagles' third string, and not even Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett will, will be hurt too. It'll be like and it'll be like the worst Super Bowl ever because you have a bunch of scrubs because everyone's hurt. And then maybe people will say, yeah, maybe you've gone too far. But that's the thing is, like you said, we're diehard fans. We'll eat up anything. We'll take it. We'll take it, and it's not like we're gonna stop watching or talking about it or whatever. So, and that's why it's because it's just so damn popular. But
Yeah,
at some point, you're gonna get oversaturated.
and I guess I don't see how, like the Browns, for example, they get the Bengals in Week 1, but then they don't see them until the last game of the year. They get the Ravens in Week 4, but they don't see the Ravens again until Week 12. So that's 2 months off. But yet we're sitting here playing every damn buddy in the AFC North in about 10 days,
Yeah,
twice.
yeah,
Not 10 days, but almost. It's not that far. It's almost like 20 days.
almost, yeah.
And I mean, how can you? And I'm not saying that they're doing this on purpose in the Steelers, but whoever's making these schedules, I mean, come on, man. Can you absolutely tell me and sit there that the Browns have that, which is reasonable, right? Bengals Week 1, Week 16, Ravens Week 4, Week 12, Steelers Week. Let me see here. Yeah, Steelers are a little bit closer together, but still, I don't know.
It's almost like they assigned, one person to do everybody's schedule, and the person doing the Steelers schedule is like, okay, I got this and look at this, and someone's like, they still have to play division games. Like, oh my God, I forgot about the division games. Okay, we'll just put them all at the end. There, okay, we're done. Here, turn it in.
Let me reiterate that because I was inaccurate on that. Bengals Week 7, then they play them the Week 16, so a couple weeks off.
Yeah.
Ravens Week 8, then Week 18, so 10 weeks. Steelers is 12 and 14, so that's the close thing. They play the Steelers twice within 3 weeks. but that it's the other stuff is reasonably spread out. So I just and the Browns do have a tough schedule. I mean, it's pretty brutal too, but it just doesn't make. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a good
It
recipe.
doesn't feel fair.
Right. And that's where, when you do have us on the show here in August, whoever, and maybe Leanne and whoever else joins us again, hopefully, we're going to look at it. And instead of saying, well, maybe game by game, this is what we see, you really got to take into consideration when we hit week 11. It's almost like, you know what? Who the hell knows? I mean, they may.
Who knows?
Yeah, I got to go. They're going to finish those last couple of weeks 4-4 just because of the brutality of the schedule. Not because of the opponent, because of the schedule, which is never the brutality of the schedule should never overshadow the opponent.
Well, that's the funny thing. Let's say they are doing well and they do sneak into the playoffs. They're going to be dead. They'll go through the hell of playing all these division games all at the same time. They'll be like crawling into that playoff game.
Yep. And I mean, it is. I mean, it's everybody. I mean, it's not just the Steelers. Some of these other teams too. They're going to be dead. You're right.
Yeah. Crazy.
Very.
But we won't stop talking about it. So
Nope.
we're part of the problem.
That's right. Guilty.
and we'll keep talking about it.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Hey, good to see you again.
You too, Joe. Thanks. Have a good day.
All right.